The iBR boot is an important component to protect the rather expensive intelligent brake and reverse actuator on a SeaDoo. According to the maintenance schedule, it should be inspected every 50 hours or 1 year, whichever comes first. The boot on this first generation Spark is about 10 years old and is starting to show severe signs of dry rotting and leaking and needs to be replaced immediately. I'll include a link in the description below to a new iBR boot. It also comes with new ear clamp rings since they are one-time use. For the Spark, this is a lot easier on the 2-up, but it can still be done on the 3-up without removing the jet pump. The tools you need are a 13mm socket, ratchet, and wrench, preferably a ratcheting wrench and 1/4 inch drive 13mm socket and ratchet if you have a 3-up, a 10mm wrench, a T20 Torx driver, a somewhat small slotted screwdriver or pry tool, and ear clamp pliers. Optionally, you may want to have some Loctite 243 and a torque wrench capable of 16 foot-pounds. Let's get started by removing the iBR connecting arm. Use the 13mm wrench and 13mm socket to take out the connecting arm bolt. If you have the 3-up version, use a 1/4 inch drive ratchet to have enough room for it to fit on the nut on the inside. For the 2-up version, you should be able to use the ratchet on the bolt on the outside. Now that the bolt is out of the connecting arm, use the 13mm wrench, or for the 2-up version, use the 13mm ratchet to take out the bolts on each side of the iBR gate. Then slide the gate out of the way and set aside. Make sure you don't lose the spacers on the connecting arm or iBR gate pivot points. With the iBR gate removed, you can now access the iBR boot. Use a screwdriver to pry open the old clamp rings. There are small tabs on one side that hold the free end in place. Once the free end is pried up, the band will slide off. You may have to rotate the entire boot to get better access to the rear clamp, then remove it as well. Now slide the boot back to reveal a T20 Torx screw and shoulder pin. Use the 10mm wrench to hold the shoulder pin in place while you unscrew the Torx screw. Slide the shoulder pin out to free the connecting arm, then slide the old boot off of the actuator arm. If the old boot had water inside, allow the actuator arm to dry out before installing the new boot. I also added a small amount of BRP triple guard grease to the iBR shaft before covering it back up with a new boot. Take the new boot and slide it, small end first, all the way onto the connecting arm. This next step is a bit tricky, but while compressing the boot on the connecting arm, slide it into the slot on the actuator shaft and lock it in place with a shoulder pin. Now, while holding the shoulder pin with a 10mm wrench, tighten the T20 Torx screw. Allow the boot to slide over the screw and slide the front end into place on the connecting arm, then the back end over the base of the actuator. Take your ear clamp pliers and crimp down the clamps on each end of the boot. Before reinstalling the iBR bucket, apply some Loctite 243 thread locker on the side bolts. Verify the spacers are correctly inserted in the iBR gate pivot points, and with a gate correctly positioned on the inside guides, get the pivot bolts started. Use a 13mm socket or wrench to tighten them. If you have the 2-up version and are able to get a torque wrench on them, the correct torque is 16 foot-pounds. The last thing to reattach is the iBR connecting arm. The bolt and self-locking nut are both 13mm. After reattaching everything, crank up the engine and briefly press the throttle to raise the iBR bucket. Now turn the engine off and make sure the iBR bucket returns to the down position. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and check out my SeaDoo playlist for all of my SeaDoo related videos.